What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to talk about what you should be feeding your chickens in the winter in order to increase their chances of survival, especially if you live somewhere with harsh temperatures during that time of year. We're just past the winter season at this point, but keep this advice in mind because you can still apply it now. There are a few things that you should be doing to keep your chickens warm, like modifying their coop to handle that type of climate, but we're just going to focus on what they should be eating. Now I'm going to show you guys what I feed my chickens, but there are other substitutes for some of these ingredients that include similar proteins and fat content. Now proteins are especially important because they help with muscle and skeletal development, especially in young growing birds, and it helps with biological functions like egg production and feather growth, which is helpful when they're molting and preparing for the change in season. If you're giving your flock a nutritionally balanced feed, they will eat less food overall because they're meeting those dietary requirements. So if you have free-range chickens with access to a variety of bugs and insects where you live, this is also beneficial in decreasing their overall feed intake, which in return will save you money. Now, just like protein, fats and carbohydrates also play an important role in keeping your flock warm in the winter months because they keep your bird's metabolism running and in return increasing their body temperature. Now that we've covered some basics regarding the importance of introducing a balanced diet, I'm going to show you guys what and why I feed my chickens, the ingredients I'm going to show you here. So the first thing we have is their staple egg layer pellets, which provides them with vitamins and minerals, amino acids, calcium, enzymes, and other important supplementation that's beneficial to egg-laying hens. You can and should also add vitamins to their water that also include electrolytes, which is another step you can take to make sure your birds are getting the proper nutrition and eliminate the possibility of any nutrient deficiency. Second, we have grit, which is also a staple ingredient you should be feeding your chickens year round, as it aids in the digestion process and helps break down food in the gizzard since chickens don't have the ability to chew their food. Next, we have oyster shell, which I briefly discussed in my previous video regarding supplementing with calcium, as it does just that and will help with the structural integrity of your hen's eggs. The last thing you want is an egg-bound hen or an egg breaking inside of them during the laying process. Complications like that can be fatal by simply neglecting to give them enough calcium. You may get warning signs of them being nutrient deficient if you catch them starting to eat their own eggs, but the potential for that happening will significantly decrease by giving them a balanced diet from the start. I also provide them calcium by processing their eggshells, which you can refer to in my previous video. Next on the list is a fish-based cat kibble. Try not to give them anything that's really low quality and loaded with byproducts and fillers. You don't have to get them the most expensive top-of-the-line kibble. Just make sure it's of reasonable quality. So the cat kibble is high in protein and they will have no problem eating and digesting this at all. So here we have corn. It's preferred that you use whole corn, but unfortunately I didn't have any this time around, so I just grabbed them a bag of cracked corn. It's an efficient means of providing them with a source of fat content and keeping their metabolism moving at a high rate to keep their bodies warm. Next is dry oats. They provide fat but also high in carbohydrates, which is going to give them energy and keeping their little machines running around the clock, which is especially important when the temperatures drop at night. And the last thing I have here is black oil sunflower seeds. The seeds are easy for them to consume and they supply an ample amount of protein and fatty oils, and I personally recommend them as a staple year-round ingredient if you can swing it, and if not, they're definitely great to give as a frequent snack since they supply a sufficient amount of calories and nutrients. To prepare their feed, all I simply do is take all the ingredients in adequate proportions and put them all in a bin. So as far as proportions, you can pretty much put equal amounts of just about everything in there, but they won't need the same amount of grit and oyster shell ratio compared to feed. You'll notice that if you overdo it, there will be a lot of grit and calcium supplement left behind. The percentage will be based on the capacity of the container and how much feed you place in there. Once all the ingredients are in, just give it a good mix so everything is evenly dispersed and you're ready to fill their bowl or whatever type of feeding apparatus you have set up for them. So as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Drop a like for the algorithm as it helps out this channel. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video and invest in your education to improve your animals' lives. So take care and I'll see you in the next video.